Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about the Inish Yugoslavia ECC83 12x7 type of tube. Now this tube, it's not in my favorite category, but however it's a very good tube if you happen to find a non-microphonic one. Now let's talk about a little bit details here. These tubes were manufactured in Niš, Serbia, which was a part of a former Yugoslavia. Basically, I think these tubes, if I read the factory code correct, they were made in the late 70s. Now, this tube came out straight, basically new old stock, new in the box. We talk about the sound a little bit. They sound, the middle range and the bass is pretty nice and smooth. However, they're a little bit harsh on the top, which it's kind of downer for me, but for some people that look maybe a little bit more bright tone, that could be a great tube. Another good thing about this tube is it does not cost a fortune. It's not like you would buy yourself a Bugle Boy or a Telefunken. It's basically a cheaper version of a basically vintage tube. And I believe that these tubes were manufactured on the Telefunken equipment because this tube seems to be identical to Telefunken smooth plate version. I don't have one that I own, but for what I saw from the internet, from the picture, it seems to be pretty correct. Now they also mentioned that the Inish tubes were made on the Philips toolings. I can say that the only thing I noticed that this tube has in common with the Philips, they both light up when they're being turned on. They have this flash. This is typical for Philips tubes. Now this one does the same. Now I don't know if that was something to do with the Philips tooling or not, but this is something I noticed. Since it was mentioned so many times on the internet, these tubes were made by Telefunken and Philips tooling. So this is my assumption what it could be. Now this tube has a downside. Like I said, it's microphonic, and these tubes are basically new old stock, but if I put them in a V1 or V2 position of my amp, it's just gnarly. It's just, the microphonics are over the top. You have the squeaky, squealy sounds that you don't want, and it's basically garbage. So in that case, these two tubes, in my case, can be only used as a phase inverter position where you won't be so prone to microphonic. Now, this here, it says Siemens, but this is not the original Siemens made in Germany. This is actually the same tube. This is the Inish ECC83. Now, I know that Siemens have rebranded Inish among other tube types. And what's the difference between these two? Now the original IE marked, it's very microphonic, but this Siemens, it's quiet. It's not microphonic at all. It's completely vice versa. Now this is basically a good choice for you. So I'm making this video. If you find yourself this Siemens that were basically Inish rebranded, and you can tell from the plate construction, if you find yourself, get those. Now this is definitely a better choice than this. Way better, non-microphonic, still sounds the same basically. It's a little harsh on the top end, but at least it's a quiet tube. So it's a great choice for you. So this is what I wanted to say. If you want to find yourself a promising pair of Inish, what I noticed, the Siemens rebranded version is the quiet one. So there you go. There's a little video on information about Inish tubes. Overall, they're great tubes. They're not bad. I think it's still better than anything produced nowadays. However, if you compare this to, some of those Mallards or Philips or Telefunkens, I don't think it comes close, but it's still a good bang for the buck. So I hope this video was informative for you, and see you next time when we continue about our very cool tube discussions. See ya.